Barcelona. Hello. I'm so happy to see you all. I am here live in Barcelona, beautiful Barcelona, which is one of my favorite cities in Europe. And I have a special guest with me, and we're excited to chat with you. Can I say, ta-da! This is Luka! Luka Peroš!
Hello, everybody.
Luka is, well, he's many things, but he is a brilliant, brilliant actor who I have been a fan of for so long. And when I come to Barcelona, I get to see him and his wonderful wife, Paula. And so I'm so excited to chat with you today because we always have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we can really go through so many topics. It's a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, well, welcome to Barcelona, Sasha.
Thank you.
It's nice to have good friends over. It's finally hot here in Barcelona. We have some summer weather, so we're hiding here in the shade, actually.
Yes, we are. But I'm very happy to report that Barca makes very good matcha.
And you enjoy the matcha, but you have to drink it. Shouldn't you drink it with that whole thing and the straw?
No. I have to add ice.
I know this matcha.
Yeah, matcha. I like
the
it
one
with
the
ice.
Chile, no, the Argentines and Uruguayans drink that.
So, Luka, you may recognize him from a very unsuccessful show called Money Heist, which was on Netflix for a little bit, and you had a really awesome time on that. And where did you shoot that?
No, we shot like over 80% in Madrid, around Madrid.
Oh, in Madrid?
Yeah.
So you went back and forth?
Yeah, I was on the train back and forth, Barcelona to Madrid for almost 3 years, for 3 seasons, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was such a massively global show.
It was, but also the effort put into the show was equal to the success of the show. It was a lot of work. It was definitely a lot of work. Very complicated technical work.
Really?
Yeah.
Like how?
A lot of these shots were extremely technically planned, like almost choreographed. Many times I tell people I felt I was more dancing than acting. Because the camera crew, sound crew, light crew, they all had the positions to switch, as well as all the actors, 1 to 7, 8 actors. So usually on sets you have marcations on the floor, who is what, where, how. It looked like a Bob Fosse on crack cocaine, something like that, like a crazy OCD and eclectic and completely nuts like choreographer doing a choreography. And then it's very, it was very mathematical and being very focused all the time and precise. So it was difficult, and also showing the emotion with on top of everything.
On top of everything, people don't realize how when you do sort of like action related things, how technical they can be, and how difficult it is to actually be doing that stuff, but then also having your emotional
being in the energy of your role, actually speaking and telling your lines clear, understandable without muzzling them up or. It was definitely a challenge, and it was a rock and roll show the whole time.
So Luka speaks how many languages?
Many.
How many?
I don't know, speaking really fluently, 6, 7, 8.
6, 7, 8 languages. Who speaks 6, 7, 8 languages? That's incredible.
Peter Ustinov spoke like 9 or 11 or 12. Peter Ustinov, old actor.
So
he was in so many movies. He was Poirot before. And also Pete Postlewaite. He spoke like.
Oh, 9. Pete did?
Yeah,
My husband worked with Pete.
Yeah, Pete Postlewaite.
Yeah, he did his
like
first
9,
movie
11,
with Pete.
11 languages, something insane.
Wow. He was brilliant.
Yeah,
he's brilliant. So you are Croatian. You were born where?
In Zagreb, in Croatia. That time Yugoslavia.
Okay, that time Yugoslavia.
Yep.
And where did you grow up? You grew up many places.
Yeah, I spent like those Stalin 5-year plans with my family. 5 years Croatia, 5 years Vienna, 5 years Croatia, then 3 years Abu Dhabi. Then I moved to the States to Emerson College for my college years.
In LA.
Boston.
Boston.
So go Celtics. I'm sorry to interrupt this. Celtics are champs, yay. Anyway, beat down. Wicked.
There's my mom. Ciao,
Hi,
mama.
Ciao, mama. Sve dobro je, lijepo se ponaša. Dobio sam vode. Jokes aside. So I lived around, and I started to read and write in German, actually. Yeah.
What, by the way, what an incredible skill set. Like most people can barely learn another language, and it just shows you, because I think languages are so important to us being able to just, I don't know, it's not just understand people, but understand that there's like, I don't know, that we're all capable of it. I do think that everybody is capable of it if you learn it at a certain time in your life. When you're young.
And here is that big trouble. Kids are sponges. Any kids, like any of you guys who are out here, mixed marriages, I mean mixed nationality languages by origins and so on. Speak your own language with your kid. They're like sponges. I unfortunately know some parents, I don't know, half Portuguese, half Croatian, living in New York. The kid only speaks English, let's say, you know?
Yeah.
So my boy is 5. He speaks 5 languages. He's 12 years old. So
what languages he speaks?
Catalan, Spanish, Croatian, English, and Brazilian Portuguese.
Wow, that's amazing.
No, but they're
impressive.
sponges. They're sponges. You should not avoid it. You should, even if they make mistakes, they will not make mistakes until when they're 20 and so on. It's an ongoing process. So
I think it's
I completely support that. And you can travel the world and really know when somebody wants to spit in your soup.
Shit about you. That happened, by the way. My mother was playing tennis once.
Hola desde México. Hola Mexico. Sorry.
My mom was playing tennis, and these guys were talking about her and her friend the whole time in Serbo-Croatian, and she did not say a word, and then at the very end she said something to them, and they were just like, oh, it happened to me actually.
Oh, so it was you.
About a year now.
Your mom was talking bad about you?
My mom was talking so bad about me. About a year and a half ago, I got on a flight, and I was seated next to a woman, and she was on the phone with her boyfriend, and she was speaking in Serbo-Croatian, which I understood, and she was saying that, oh, this woman just sat next to me, and she threw my pillow on the floor, and she was like, saying things about me, like, oh, why did someone have to sit next to me? Blah, blah, blah. She was saying things. I didn't say anything. We took off. I waited for a good maybe couple hours into the flight, and then I got up and I said in Serbian, excuse me, I have to pass by to use the restroom. And she was like, oh my God.
Mouth like apple.
Oh?
Yeah.
So it's fun. You get to play like good little jokes on people when you speak.
No, I don't. It's karmically, it always backfires. Just I'm not saying this out of experience.
Not at all.
No.
But what I totally admire about you is the languages and you living in so many places, has created an artist. That's who I'm saying is an artist. Who is so versatile. You're so versatile. You can do so many different things that sometimes when you see you in something, you're like, no, that's not him. Yes, that's him.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. Like, you are literally one of those people, like, we've never worked together, but I would love to work with you because I feel like a director could tell you just to do something and you would be able to do it. And I just don't think everybody has that ability.
I don't want to compare myself to other people. I know I myself like to play. I love my job because it gives me the liberty to go on one tangent, another tangent, depends on really what's best for the project. Unfortunately, because of my size, my voice, I always get the bad roles. I'm always the bad.
You're the bad guy.
And I'm not really the bad guy.
No, you're so funny.
My mom always said, when are you going to be in a good role? When are they not going to kill you? And stuff like that. So, hi, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom.
Hi, Mama.
So, yeah, I think, the imagination is a huge factor. There's also a factor of luck in our jobs.
Yeah.
In our profession of how you get to be able to do something that is outside of your niche. My niche is not a niche that I prefer to be my niche. It's what the producers, directors want, which is like these bad guys screaming, being violent, and I crush you, and so on. And I'm sick and tired of that already. It's kind of like a schabloon. It's ABCD. It's going through the motions. So.
But you don't look like that at all. You're so handsome. You're so like not to say that like a guy that's like I'm gonna crush you is not handsome. But I just feel like in person your energy is so
in person. Energy that's
warm.
better
You're
from
so
outside.
warm. You're so like not. It's not like you're some cold.
When I was younger, I thought I had a Captain Hook complex, and as the older I get, I have a Peter Pan complex.
What's a Captain Hook complex?
Well, I did play Captain Hook
Okay,
once,
okay.
as one for once, but no, it's just like being bitter and so on, not really growing up. And then when I kind of grew up, I realized it's better to stay a kid. I love being a kid. I still watch cartoons. I still love the Muppet Show.
Oh,
Yeah.
you do? You should go
Yeah.
hang out with Leonardo at his soccer camp right now.
I would. I can do voices for them for cartoons.
I was just telling Luca that Leonardo was at a soccer camp here, and he's with a whole group of boys, and they had to stay in their rooms for like extended amount of time, and they were being a little crazy. So the counselor took away their phones and got mad at them. And I was saying to Luca, don't you think that 13-year-old boys are not going to be able to sit still? Like, don't you
Absolutely
think?
not. No, they have ants in their butts and only nonsense in their heads.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm 47, almost 48. I'm the same.
so you guys never change.
No, boys will be boys.
I know. So sometimes I say to Leo, like having a boy after a girl, I'm like, what is going on in your mind right now? Like, I just said this to you 5 times. Like, what is happening in your mind right
Sasha,
now?
have you ever watched any
Nothing.
Simpsons? You know, when
Yeah,
it
of
goes
course.
into the skull of Homer and then you see the monkey with the ching, ching, ching. That's what's happening right now. I barely managed to remember that, although it's in my head right now as well. That's what we boys do.
That's really funny. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think it's a good thing. I agree with you. I think we have to stay playful, which is why I always love hanging out with younger people who are just like in a different state in their life, because the way they look at the world is so much less heavy, right? I mean, I feel like
I like to
everyone is
mesh
like
it up. I like both
yeah,
sides
I
of the
agree,
spectrum.
I agree. No, you're right.
Because sometimes
You're right.
from the old people, yeah, they can be pretty dark and detrimental sometimes. I don't know if it's by experience or just because of their character, but I like to mix it up. A little bit of both sides to
You're
see
right.
where it can go and where it was and etc. But to go back to our job, which is pretty much to play around.
Yeah.
It's so hard to get to that point to play around, but once we do, yeah, we are pretty gnarly, and
Yeah.
and we love our job. And otherwise, not only us, I think, everybody who's involved in our industry, TV, film, theater, everybody involved there wants to be part of that circus. From the technical crew, the camera crew, the sound crew, the lighting, the grid, even the Teamsters, because it's so hard for them sitting for 14 hours on end
Yeah.
next to the trucks. Everybody enjoys our job, and we are all in it suffering, for good and bad, for a nice project to come out. We want that. I earn it. I yearn it.
Where did you get started? When was the moment that you discovered your passion for this?
I've done already in Vienna.
Scoot in a little
No,
more.
I'm fine. I'm
Okay.
fine. I'm just big. I don't fit into this lens. I started already in Vienna with various little school concerts and was singing in a choir and playing piano and so on, and any kind of instruments that they would give us to joke around. So was it in the nativity scene, blah blah blah. I would participate in that.
Did you say nativity scene? Did you play Baby Jesus?
No, of course no. I was too big.
You were too big.
But I was too good to be the donkey, so I was Joseph or whatever. Anywho, I don't even remember, man. But I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the camaraderie. I enjoyed always the rehearsal process, and
Me
I
too.
still do to this day. I enjoy the rehearsal period much more than the actual performance in theater at the end. I don't know how to describe it.
Is it because
creative. I don't know.
Is it because in rehearsals we have the opportunity? It's not the final thing. There's no final moment. You are open and released to try all these different ways to get to a place that you feel it's good. Whereas once you get it to a performance, that's it. You have a result at the end of it.
It has very much to do with that because rehearsal period is trial and error. And one would think that once the show is done with all the light effects, the costumes, the music, the rhythm, the mise en scène, the stage, movement, and so on, you would think that that's it. It's a done show. I love to continue with trial and error. In some shows, you can have that leverage to push a little bit more, but not too much, because there should be like a line of respect to your colleagues and what is kind of put together. I don't know. I worked for 9 years at the Zagreb Puppet Theater, so with puppets, you have to be very precise, really.
It sounds really funny.
No.
With puppets, you have to be very precise. What does that mean exactly?
Kinky mind.
No. That's not at all. I'm just saying, with puppets. What do you mean with puppets?
No, with puppets, because it's the rhythm. It's the lighting. It depends on what kind of puppets you're using.
But not ventriloquists. Who's doing the voices?
No.
Okay.
We're doing the voices. We're
okay.
either with the puppets, all dressed in black, like mine. People in a mine, all trying to put the puppets into the light. If it's a table puppet or a Jamaica puppet, you have the guignols, which are the Muppets, where you open the mouth, where you're behind the screen. It depends, but the rhythm of a show and the puppets and kind of how it is for kids, because children are the most difficult, demanding audience there is, without a doubt. You either have them, you either have them or you don't. So if you have them, they're like this. They're watching you every step. If you don't have them,
that's true. That's true.
And they're gone. Anyway, but you have to be very precise with your colleagues because of the lighting, where your puppet shows up, why it shows up, for the audience also to have the focus on stage to something. It is very, very technical as well.
Are you going back to Zagreb now? Where are you going back to the theater?
No, I'm going to theater back to Dubrovnik. For all you international people, Dubrovnik.
It's so beautiful.
And anybody else in the world, Dubrovnik.
Dubrovnik.
Just say it.
Dubrovnik.
Dubrovnik.
I grew up going to Dubrovnik every summer. It's like a dream.
Yeah.
Dream. If you have not been there and you travel, go to Croatia, go to the coast.
It is a beautiful place to visit. It is very touristy now, unfortunately, but that's what happens when you have something so beautiful.
Yeah.
But in any case, Dubrovnik has a summer festival. It's called Dubrovnik Ljetne igre Dubrovačke.
So what are the dates?
They are every year. This is going to be the 75th annual year, 10th of July until the 25th of August.
Oh, wow.
I will be there all of August, 1st until the 25th, and we're putting up Shakespeare's The Tempest.
Oh, which I love. I did The Tempest. That was one of my very first plays in high school.
Because there's no other female roles.
There's no other female. We did this. I went to we did a lot of Shakespeare festivals growing up. And so some of the festivals, if you did a solo, I would have to play both of the characters.
Oh.
So they would do this thing where they would kind of combine it into this like 10-minute thing, and you jump and you play the different roles. It was very cool. But I've done the stage production too. But anyway, I really like The Tempest. It's a very unusual play of Shakespeare's. I'm a huge Shakespeare fan. And it's one of his most
It's the most bizarre. It's his last
plays.
one. It was as a dedication for the birthday of James the or whatever the king was at that time, 18. Anno Domini. And it's peculiar because it's a mix of drama, comedy, and pastoral. Imaginary, like fairy world, like the Midsummer Night's Dream kind of an affair.
Right.
So, and I'm playing Prospero.
I'm
playing the father.
And so how are you feeling about having to do Shakespeare in Croatian on stage
After
again?
9 years not stepping on the stage, or 12 years without doing serious drama?
Yeah.
I'm pooping my pants from fright. I'm scared shitless. No, honestly,
So what do you do?
really scared.
Okay, so what do you do to prepare? How long is it going to actually take you to memorize it?
I already have the text memorized.
Really?
Yeah.
How long has it taken you?
No, but we had 5 weeks of reading rehearsals when we also took out a lot of text and kind of saw what we can use and kind of switch some scenes around, because we are going to take a more modern approach to it, and we're not going to speak in verse, Shakespearean verse. We're going to make it more loose, but respecting, of course, the beauty of his language in the translation that we have. And yes, I'm scared. I mean, after 2 weeks of reading, table reads and so on, I remember everybody's lines. So That's my
It's
thing.
very important if you ever choose to be an actor in your life that you can memorize lines. It is not something that everyone can do. It is a skill set. To learn to memorize lines is something very specific. Like my husband Eduardo always says to me, like, wow, I can give you a piece of paper and you'll look at it and then you'll just do it. But I remember when I was on Rizzoli and Isles, I had so much medical terminology.
Oh, yeah, that
and
sucks.
it would take me like 2 hours, every night, 2 to 3 hours. I'd have to memorize it because it was not words that I was comfortable with or I knew. And then, so they weren't something. Hello.
No, we're back.
Sorry, we're back.
Children, don't call us.
Don't call us. That was actually my son calling. Leo, we'll get back to you. Anyway, I just remember having to work on it so much, and then you have to work on it even more so that when you're in the moment, it comes out naturally, and you're not having to think about it because you can't be in the moment if you're thinking about your words.
I think that people who are kind of confused and so on, not confused or squeamish about learning lines and think they cannot do it. It's like a muscle, guys. It takes time to go back to it. If I don't have some additions or some project that I have to remember some lines for 2-3 months, let's say, and a nice quantity of stuff, I do suffer for the first 2-3 weeks to go back into studying even 2 pages of some text to remember that. But it's also amplifying all your other senses, like hearing. Like reading table reads for whatever, film, television, or especially theater, I listen very attentively and very actively. I listen to my colleagues. And then if they more or less do the same thing after 4 days, I have those lines memorized.
That's
Theirs
great.
as well.
Real quickly, something came to mind. I want to know, how is it different being an actor in, let's say, in the US versus in Europe? Like, I feel like in Europe, it's so cool. You get to jump from country to country. You get to speak all these different languages. You get to like be in all these different things. Like, that's so cool. In the US, you're in the US, but also the business of it in the US is just so harsh. It's harsh. It's a harsh profession. But I feel like the US is such a bigger place. There's so much more, I don't know, pigeonholing. Like, I feel like every time I meet people, actors or industry people in Europe, you always meet them for coffee and they kind of meet you and they see you and you kind of just, doesn't mean they're going to hire you, but at least you have a face-to-face. Do you have that anymore or no?
No, you don't. No.
Okay. That's too bad.
First, to make it clear, I haven't worked in the States professionally ever.
You haven't? Ever?
No. I haven't been in the States for 22 years, number one. And the last time I was there, and I lived in LA for 2-3 years, I never even had a speaking role. I was an extra, I was a gopher, I was a prop, I was an arms man, weaponry. I've done everything else but acting.
Missed out on.
So
That's
thanks, Hollywood,
crazy.
you missed out.
They missed out, but it's never too late. So it's never too late.
No, it's not that. Every person has their own maturity level and time, and I think mine is yet to come. I'm lucky because I'm a man, and it's very different. That's a whole new topic, dramaturgy, and blah blah blah. We're not going to get into that. Now, Europe compared to the U.S. Post-COVID, everything has become much more online. Everybody has become much more, I don't want to say lazy because that would seem insulting, but it's not. But it's very close to lazy. They are indolent on seeing people live. They're more comfortable now having videotapes, self-tapes being sent in. So there's a lot being lost in the audition process, not just in the States, in Europe, it's the same way. This jumping from country to country might seem interesting, but also jumping from country to country and language to language and production to production is exhausting because there's no medium level of control. You can be in some very cheap production in Serbia and you will be treated better than into a very, very high production in Spain or Italy. There's no rules anymore. It's pretty erratic.
I want to work in Serbia. Like, I would love
I worked last
to have
year,
the
it was
opportunity.
amazing.
It was, and were you in Belgrade?
I was in Belgrade with Firefly Productions, which is a new production company. I just hit my nail against the table. Sorry. Firefly Productions. They built a completely new studio that they opened officially last year. at like a sound stage, 2 huge sound stages with a lot and so on, that nobody has in the Balkans right now. None of the countries from ex-Yugoslavia. I don't know if I haven't shot in Romania or Bulgaria, but there's many interesting locations there to shoot, and also it has a water tank, which is production-wise something very peculiar that you don't really. Spain doesn't have a water tank.
Which is, by the way,
Money Heist, we had those diving scenes and so on, getting the gold. Whoever watched, that was shot in England.
Can I just tell you a little fun fact? I have no desire to be in a water tank movie or show. I just don't. I get claustrophobic. And I once, when I was just coming up, they were making this movie called Hard Rain, and it was Minnie Driver and Christian Slater, and I knew the producers, and I remember going to the set, and they had this big tank they were shooting in, and everybody was just miserable because you just show up to work and get in water every single day. And I just thought that looked super uncool. Like, I just thought, I will be. I mean, I can't even scuba dive. I tried to just put the actual
snorkeling
mask on in a pool, and I started to hyperventilate in a pool. I didn't even go inside the ocean. So I don't want to. I'm just putting it out there. I do not want to be in any underwater movie situation.
Now, for all you fans out there who idolize our jobs, meaning not idolize us, idolize the movie industry, thinking that it's all extravagant and gorgeous and amazing, you always have to think that it's the Murphy's Law. It's always the opposite. So, if you see somebody in a scantily dressed outfit, bathing suit and so on, and trying to enjoy themselves, guy, girl, doesn't matter, it's probably shot somewhere on a nice location at 10 Fahrenheit or exactly. -4 Celsius, etc. Now, when you see somebody dressed in like winter coats and so on, like us on the platform in Casa de Papel, that was on Tenerife, on the Canary Islands. It was 30 Celsius degrees, that's what, 92, 3 Fahrenheit, dressed like Eskimos, acting like the Bering Pass between Alaska and Russia. So it's never normal. It's never normal. It's always a counter. So, and we like it. We're such masochists.
It's a funny thing. People don't realize that very often. Sometimes I'll watch something, and most recently there was a show called Murder at the End of the World, and I don't know where they shot this, but with Emma Corrin in it, and the whole thing is in the snow in the middle of nowhere, and every scene just looks freezing. Like, they were there for 6 months, freezing every day, and that just looked really not fun. The Jodie Foster. Did you see? Have you guys seen True Detective?
The last one, the 4th season. No, I have not yet. I didn't have time.
She's amazing. I really loved it. I enjoyed the whole season so much, and it was so great to see her on screen. I just think she's incredible. But they also shot that in I think Alaska, and that looked freezing. Freezing, because it all night shoots. I
had several shoots in the snow, not more than 5-6 days on end. But the worst part is when the cold enters your body and doesn't leave, and then you're effed for the whole day.
The whole day.
Yeah. I mean, I was doing a real story. Based on true events, story from the Second World War about a Nazi camp in Austria, and we were shooting in Budapest, exteriors and so on. And there was like 2 days in the snow, and then there was like 20 extras that had to be like in scantily dressed uniforms, dead in the snow. Those poor extras were paid almost nothing, and they were in that snow more than 4 or 5 hours.
Oh yeah.
And then they only had one tent with heating on for the actors. And I told all the actors, guys, get the F out. Let's put the extras inside to warm up, because it's not nothing about me. It's just the conditions that what we do and how we work.
People don't realize.
And they don't realize, and sometimes even producers. I'm sorry to say,
producers don't realize it,
and they
treat people don't realize. I agree.
They treat people so. That was more my point.
But they don't know. They don't know what it means to be on the ground. A lot of people who produce or work for studios or everything,
they're in a nice company office.
Yeah, they're in their office.
Yes, but please hire us for your next project.
Yeah.
No.
That's so funny.
No, but
did you like
is a
LA?
circus.
Did you like LA when you lived in LA? No, I didn't like LA.
Not at all.
I get it. But Barcelona, let's talk about Barcelona for a second. Barcelona is a little bit like the LA of Europe, because it's near water, the buildings are low, the weather conditions feel LA, and also it's super chill here. People are very casual, which I love. You don't have to dress up for dinner if you don't want. Everything's a bit like loose. It's not as, let's say, I don't know, it's not as like formal as Madrid, no? Am I wrong?
Madrid is pretty nutsy and crazy as well. Listen, first of all, they're European cities and those are American cities. So from the get-go, the energy is different. I would compare more Barcelona to a mix of New York and Split, which is a city on the Croatian coast, on the Adriatic coast, which is a very Mediterranean city. Very nutsy and crazy and vivacious, let's call it. But yeah, I understand how you draw the line that it's in nice, comfortable weather compared to the rest of the continent, etc. I don't know. I got sick and tired of big cities, guys. When you have to drive for 2 hours for an audition that 98% you're not gonna get, and then drive 2 hours
it's
back.
So fun.
It is. It's like why? What am I doing?
I used to have clothes in the back of my car,
Yeah,
costumes, and then I would just go from one to the other like a crazy person, changing my clothes, just throwing myself in, doing accents like a crazy person. When I think back to that, you have to be a little bit
when you're
nuts
stuck, when you're stuck in traffic in LA, you see such callings like I saw myself putting makeup on while you're stuck in traffic, or screaming at the steering wheel, or looking at yourself in the mirror and trying weird faces. It's those people have some heavy problems. No, they're just actors looking for work.
But you know what I miss about that a little bit is this. I don't know. I think when you're getting into something and you have the dream of it, there is this a way you attack it that is fun. You know, you have nothing to lose, so you just go after everything. And to me, there was a moment there that was super fun for me to just explore and not care because it doesn't matter. But then after you work for a long time, I think you sort of can get to a place where it's, I don't know, you expect a little bit more. Like you don't want to drive for 2 hours to go to a room full of strangers to show them that you have, you know, I don't know, it becomes different. It becomes different. Don't you think? No? Or you want to go back to clothes in your car?
No, I would love to go back to actual auditions in person. Honestly.
Yes, I'm with you. Yes.
Honestly, with the modernization, digitalization of everything, etc., plus post-COVID lenience and kind of laziness, let's say, we have come to the point that everybody just accepts or expects self-tapes. Now, it would be nice that you get the whole script for a movie or one episode for a show to have more insight. When you go physically to an audition, guys, you have the casting director there, or their assistant, or second assistant, or you get 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences that give you maybe a little clue at the end how to prepare. Even you have a chance then to maybe do a second or a third tape for some auditions, which is a vastly different thing than what you get at home by email. You always get Thursday or Friday evening, so your weekend is shot because I myself at least turn catatonic and like get myself with the text. I'm blah, 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 and I'm going into the text. I'm learning what I can do. I'm doing all the research about who's involved in the project to then record the self-tape as soon as possible. Not as soon as possible, as quick as possible, so that I don't exhaust myself, so I don't overcomplicate. But it's my first choice without much information, and that's like a little thin needle in a haystack at the bottom of the sea.
Well, I had and you should watch it. I did a Combos and Coffee with a really great, brilliant casting director who wrote up this wonderful book called...
recently, no?
Yes. Yeah. And he was, from his perspective, saying exactly the same thing. That relationship between casting and an actor is a relationship that you build, that they get to see you, they get to feel you in person, they get to see how you take direction and there's dialogue.
Awesome. Exactly that.
And he was saying how much he misses that and how much that's something that has been a real... disappointment since COVID and since obviously people have just sort of gotten into more remote casting.
To be very frank, I had 3 auditions in person since August 2018. That audition 6 years ago was for Money Heist for Casa de Papel. Since then, I had 2 more auditions in person in 6 freaking years.
That's crazy.
And exactly what you say, when you it's very important for people in this industry to see the professional that they're working with, how they take in instructions. How do you react?
Yeah,
exactly
how
that.
do you react?
If you say do it quicker and a little bit more emotion here, and the person does it exactly the same as the first time, you probably don't want to work with that person.
Yeah,
you know?
People don't. They don't
and
realize
it's such
that.
minute nuances here. Do you do answers to questions?
Yeah,
Because
I know everybody's writing in. Okay, so let's answer some of your questions.
there was one question way before, like, what's your worst fear? What you're most afraid that could happen on stage?
On stage, I saw that.
Yeah.
And
All right, go ahead.
I don't know. You're the one that's going to be on stage, not me.
We're both here together.
Yeah, but the question was for you. because
No,
you said
it was
you're
for
gonna
us.
Be on stage. Okay, so you answer first.
Me answer first. Did I come out naked? No, that's my dream.
You're gonna do that for free.
No. I'll ask for fair amount of little money because this deserves just tiny amount of money. Oh Lord, never normal. Something I don't know. There is this perpetual fear of blocking up. It never really happened to me so dramatically that I screwed up the whole rhythm of the show and so on. I don't know. Falling off the stage, I've done that as well, not on purpose as well. So I don't know. The theater, I love theater the most out of everything.
Me too.
Maybe next to voiceovers for cartoons.
Yeah.
In which in Croatia we dub cartoons only, not other stuff. So we do voiceover of original stuff, and I love that. And I love the theater because there I'm me, myself, audience, and of course my colleagues and all the elements. But do I have any special fear? I don't know. Yeah, really, maybe like just the apparatus, not catching breath, having breath for energy, for speaking my lines, saying my lines, and being present. Yeah,
I miss doing it, and my quick answer is I miss it. I haven't done it in a long time, but one of the things I like about it is that you are thrown into it, and it's in that moment, just like we're in this moment now. You're in it, you go with it, and that's what it is. But I think my biggest fear would be, completely just blanking out on lines or something, which doesn't happen, never happened to me. But I don't know, maybe it would, and that would be like, what would you do? You know, so that's a little bit freaky. I think.
I think that in theater it's very Did you enjoy it the most in your career?
What would you guys say that was the role of your life up until now?
Oh, ladies first.
The role of my life? I don't know. I don't think it's come yet. But I've had roles that I've enjoyed playing very, very much. I loved playing Maura Isles and Brazilian Isles. I never had a boring day. Truly, it was the most challenging and fun because it had humor and humanity, and I really had a great time playing that character. I don't know. I'm working on something now that I hope is going to be, I think a role of a lifetime is also the role of in the moment you are in your life.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Because maybe in my 20s I would have said to you I had the best time doing Dawson's Creek and doing these things because that's where my maturity was at that moment.
Yeah, that's very important too, maturity.
But I feel like now what I have to offer is so different as an adult woman, as a mother, so I feel like my point of view on things is different, and so the things that I would enjoy doing are different.
Yeah. What was people would think that I would have to say Marseille from Money Heist, from Casa de Papel. I do think that for now it is like a role of my career because it was so popular. And also I do have to say that I created that role out of scratch because there was not much communication from the producers and the writing team with us actors. They would throw the script at us and, swim kids, play with it. And they also didn't know what to do with my role. So I gave them something and they built up on that.
Because they cast it well.
I don't know.
If you cast something well, at least they didn't tell you exactly how to do it and you had more ideas. At least you were able to.
No, they let me play, but they themselves didn't know. Marseille was supposed to be killed after 3 episodes. And then they saw me in costume and they was like, ooh, this guy looks weird and different. And then for 3-4 episodes, they didn't know what to do with me, but slowly I gave them kind of a weird energy. I do have to say that for now, the role of my life has not been aired yet, and what is a thing I've done in Serbia last year. I cannot talk much more about it, except that it should come out by the end of this year, fall of this year. It's called Constantine's Crossing. It's a mix between Indiana Jones,
You could play Indiana
Goonies,
Jones. Oh my God.
so many weird things, and for all you guys that like and fantasy and World War II and weird stories, with amazing camera, amazing acting crew, amazing scenography and makeup. I cannot wait for this to come out, and
I'm so
really
excited for you.
enjoyed it. So
That's great. You know what? And Eduardo and I are working on something that you like. I want you to be in every single thing that we do, because I just like, again, I feel like you're one of those people that you can sort of go, here, do this, and you just you have it all in you. Like I feel like, and this is what I think is super rare, I feel like you are one of those true actors that you put that before everything. Like you're not worried about just looking cool so that you can get in a magazine. Like you actually
you work
do
hard
the
on
work.
I work hard on that.
I
I work hard on not having abs. You know how hard is it not to have abs? Like a six-pack? Like, mwah.
Aren't you intermittent fasting now? Oh no, it's Paula intermittent fasting.
My wife is, and I suffer with her.
It's summer abs. We all need our summer abs. I know.
am a summer kid.
I know.
I have a dad bod, guys. Come on.
Well,
Everybody likes a dad bod.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. But you could not have a dad bod if you just disciplined yourself to not have a dad bod. But you don't need to. You're not playing. You're not in a Marvel thing right now. That you need to be taking your shirt
and that's
off.
why
So
I'm not in a Marvel movie right now as well. Guys, but thank you very much for the compliment without the goofing about. But I really appreciate it.
No, but I mean it. I feel like you could do anything, and that's like such a great thing. I feel like sometimes, I don't know. I think like sometimes people get a little bit caught up in the vanity. What I'm trying to say is you don't have the vanity that some people have that keeps you from doing work that is super connected. So like there's so many things you could play, which is awesome. That's great.
I like to be curious about this.
Yeah, you are curious.
And I will always straightforward when one of my agent or a manager sends me an audition. And after the first 4 lines, or even the slides, seeing what the description of the role is, I know this is not for me.
Yeah.
I'll do my best.
Yeah.
But it's not for me. It's a spurious. It's a thought, a feeling. It's already experienced, I guess. But I like to play around. I'm still missing, getting a really nice romantic role. And
nice.
Getting off the rocker with a comic role, which I've done a lot of comedy in theater, but never on screen. So it's very weird when you're dressed as a Nazi in like a World War II Nazi camp, and then people telling you, "You're so funny, you should be doing comedy." And I'm looking at myself, and I feel like John Cleese. I just gotta start doing a silly walk somewhere around the studio.
But you
and
are
going
funny.
Nuts. I
know,
to be.
but you know what? People always like pigeonhole everybody.
Yeah.
It's not even just our business. Like people, that's the one thing. I was just talking about this with somebody. It's like everybody wants you to be the one thing they want you to be, and then once you're that, you can't sort of step out of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think people are like that. I mean, if you are a rich and interesting actor, there's so many things you can do. But I don't think that everybody can be funny. You're funny, but everybody cannot be funny. Like some people are just not funny.
Yeah.
We were just there's something that I'm working on. We were making a list of some people, and there were some wonderful actors on it, but I wrote back to them like, they're not funny. Like their sense of humor is not, they're not going to be able to do this in the way that you need them to do it. Humor is
the most difficult, but
Yeah.
it's the most difficult form of performance art. And stand-up comedy being pretty much the most difficult out of all artistic performing, arts. Let's say, I don't know. Depends on. There's one thing else in our industry. What people say, the role finds the person.
Yeah, absolutely.
The person finds the role, however you want to take it. there's no timeline. Nobody can guarantee it for you, but it usually happens like that. And out of the blue, you end up in this role, and you connect, you click, and then forever.
I agree with you.
You know, like I said, the Serbian project that is coming out, I really hope I'm going to be a nightmare for like a whole generation of kids as Freddy Krueger or Jason was for me 40 years ago. Because I really turned it up.
And you probably make everybody laugh between takes while you're being evil.
Exactly. I think there's a couple of people that
which is not nice, because whenever I
almost
look
soiled themselves.
like that,
Because
I can't.
I had some. I cannot. If anybody from the Serbian producers is going to watching this now, they're going to send me a protest letter.
Do you know who Dylan McDermott is?
Of course.
Okay, so Dylan is a friend of mine, but the first time I worked with him, he really seems very serious. Like Dylan, he's handsome. He has a straight face. He just seems like he would not have a sense of humor. And the first time I was working with him, we had to do some kind of, were we cops or lawyers? I can't even remember. And we were in some room, and something was happening with the other actor where they were doing something very strange to prepare for their moment, which is fine. I don't want to judge them and say it was strange.
Each to their own, yeah.
I'm just saying to each their own. But
okay.
It was like this. They were like, and so he and I were sitting there, waiting to do this serious scene, and the person's like, whatever they had to do to cry or whatever they needed. And he and I just looked at each other, and that was it. We could not keep a straight face for the rest of the time. And he was messing around between every take all the time, to the point that we would be doing the scene and I would just be kicking him or elbowing him to just stop it. We laugh all the time. And I love working with him. But he's one of those people you think aren't funny, and he's the funniest person ever. He's the best.
In those moments on set, I try to keep the goofy character going and lifting up the spirit, because it's a really gruesome kind of amount of work, the hours and the project, what you're trying to do. So
somebody just wrote, "I need to shit." Is that real? Did you really just write that?
All right.
What did you mean to write that?
I need TP for my bunghole. All right.
All right. So we've reached our.
We reached our limit. I think this is kind of like when the lights go up in the venue and they like turn off your microphone.
Wait, hold on. Are you gonna write
Thank
that?
you very much.
Thank you so much.
I was never trolled like this before.
Oh my god, that's really funny.
Brazil. Anyway,
yeah,
I was poking around. I met Dylan McDermott, and it was this Irish origin. Like, he was a screenplay writer for various shows. So he at the Le Deux Café, he had a big birthday bash.
Oh.
And then Dylan McDermott with his friends, they all played in the band. And Captain Keener with his wife at that time was there. And so
no, you're thinking of Dermot Mulrooney.
Ah, damn it! I always confuse the two.
I know they both do, and but they're
Dylan McDermott, Dermot Mulrooney. Ah, that's true.
Dermot Mulrooney.
And whose stepmother is Croatian? Is Dylan McDermott?
Definitely not.
No, I don't know.
Not Dylan McDermott. It doesn't matter. He'll forgive you.
We're all
He'll
in
forgive
a
you.
circus.
He has sense of humor.
He
doesn't care. So anyway,
Sorry.
any last questions? And if not, I think we're going to
go buy that guy some toilet paper.
Okay, what is David McCallum like, if I may ask? Oh, David McCallum's very funny sense of humor, wonderful. May you rest in peace. He's very missed, but he's a very, very funny man.
Somebody also asked before, would we like to work together in something? I say yes.
Yes. Okay.
I don't know what. What should we do?
We can do
Theater,
anything.
series, something funny.
There's so many things we could play.
Something funny.
So many things we could play.
You've just done an audition for a French comedy. I was so happy.
Oh.
And then my instructions came last week how to do the casting. No, but this role, we need him to play bad guy, serious, etc. And I'm like, really? So with a really great cast, really great casting director, they're asking me, I cannot say what about it's on my role, but so I finally, again, French comedy, which I grew up on, Louis de Funès and so on, and all that stuff. Super funny stuff. I adored it. There were some other French greats making a great comedy. It doesn't matter. And then they ask me what to do. No, you need to be a really bad guy and be mean and so on. And I'm like,
So boring.
it's not boring, but like,
you can be mean and do that, but you know it would be funny if you were in a comedy where you were playing somebody mean, but then was super funny. Like for instance, in Taika Waititi in Jojo Rabbit.
I started watching
You
it
should
with
have
my
been a
wife,
Jojo
and then out
Rabbit.
of protest, she thought that it was going to go in a completely different way, so she stopped the movie. I still haven't seen it.
Are you
I'm very
kidding?
sorry. I'm very sorry to everybody
Oh,
involved.
you must see it.
I want to see it. I heard it's
you
great.
must see it.
But
that's
my
a good movie.
my wife.
I mean, how did he pull that off? He's amazing. But
For
like
instance,
that,
take my
that's
wife.
a great
No,
movie.
please, take
That's
my
a
wife.
great movie. That is not the directions. It's really, really. Yeah, interesting. Speaking of Hitler, I just
The
started
best
watching.
segue in the world.
I just started watching the Hitler documentary on Netflix, and I just want to say everyone should see this. Watch it. It is fascinating. It is fascinating about human beings. Like forget just like everything. Definitely something that everyone should watch and educate themselves on today, always, whatever. Not to be, not like he's like a funny guy because he's not. But
He was a shitbag.
Yeah, that's just
Crazy,
to put it
crazy
very, very
shitbag.
kindly. But
Yeah.
the craziness is it's a really, really well done and studied, and they have incredible footage and everything. So that's all I'm gonna say on Netflix.
Any
okay.
other questions?
Okay. Any other questions?
We can talk here for hours. We're in Barcelona.
We're in Barcelona.
So-
Tell me real quickly, because I
Yeah.
love Barcelona. What is one of your favorite places to eat in Barcelona?
My favorite place closed down a couple of years ago. It was Lolita Taperia.
Oh, what a
So-
great name, Lolita Taperia.
Lolita Taperia. It was really great tapas, really great vibe, great crew working there, great produce and so on. Blah. Now, well, depends on what you want to eat. My favorite paella
Yeah.
is in Escrivá, which is a restaurant on the beach.
Okay.
Escrivá. That's where I love to go. And sometimes at my friend's place here in my neighborhood, Cucut. But they're changing their menu, so let's see where they're gonna go with that.
We're not
It's
coming.
very important for me, the menu,
Yeah, we're not coming cucut until we see the menu.
because I need to work hard on my dad bod.
It's hard to work on the dad bod. in
No, actually,
Barcelona. With the jamon croquetas and the jamon and the
Actually,
fried
I'm trying-
pan, the pan
everything
tomat
is fried
every
in
day.
Spain.
Come on, I've been eating like seriously. It's very
No, but
hard.
I am.
They have salads, but I'm just
gonna
saying.
lose 12 kilos until the 15th of August. So
Bam, do it. Boom.
nothing for the yabs and so on. I'm just gonna be. I'm gonna be an islander. I'm gonna go for my Robinson Crusoe, Tom Hanks. Wilson, look, Wilson. Never normal.
Never
It's her fault.
normal. Well, we are so thankful that you checked in with us today. We wish you a beautiful day wherever you are in the world. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Are you making faces? What kind of face are you making? Do your.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You want Patrick Star from SpongeBob? You
Yes,
want Scooby Doo?
Yes.
SpongeBob, we're gonna end up this Instagram live, and then we're gonna go have a Krabby Patty. Squidward. Or
And then we have the big brown cookies and the round cookie with the chocolate cookies.
Cookies.
yeah, never normal. Sorry, my children are so embarrassed for me. I love it. I love torturing them in public.
They're lucky that you can do all these voices. It's fun. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, Sasha, for having me.
And whoever had to take a shit, I hope you took that shit and waited until this was over.
You know what? You know what, Bubby? You know why you wrote that? Because you're full of shit. Sorry.
Ciao.
If there's any underage kids here, you're on the wrong channel.
Ciao. Thanks for
Ciao.
tuning in. Bye.
Thanks, bye.